I think we are live now. Hello, beautiful, magical ADHDers. Welcome to the ADHD Roundtable. We are here with some magnificent ADHDers, and we're going to be having a roundtable discussion about ADHD normalcy to neurodiversity while engaging in deep conversations and having so much fun. So welcome Sterling, Elijah, and Morris to the roundtable. I'm so excited to have you here, and happy Juneteenth to all of you. Appreciate you being here today. My first question to you all is, tell me about a recent ADHD moment that you had.
I love how me and Sterling have our thinking faces on.
Okay.
This will depend.
Go for it.
Okay. Depending on how loosely you choose to define recent. So Atlanta got bugs, and so fleas and stuff and dog craziness. So had set aside a day. My roommate was out of town. I was going to launch a bug bomb. Got everything set up in the house. I was going to be outside working. I had my phone, I had my computer, I had drinks, I had food, I had everything I needed to not have to go back in the house the entire day. I sit down, I start working, and right around the 20-minute mark, which anyone that knows me knows is where I start to fall apart, right at 20 minutes, I completely forgot why I was working outside, got up, and opened the door and walked into a face full of chemicals.
Oh.
Yeah, just in no way did it register that, oh, right, the reason that you're working outside, the reason that you've got food and drinks and your computer and every notebook, and yeah, just gone. I totally forgot and walked right into a face full of murder chemicals.
Oh, wow.
Love that for you.
Rough day. A little bit.
Yeah. I recognized quickly when I ducked back out. So I don't think any long-term damage was done, but I did feel a bit tingly for a little while after. I was like, I'm gonna monitor these symptoms. If they get worse, I'm gonna go to ER or to urgent care.
Maybe you got superpowers, man. I don't know.
That would be fucking awesome. Sterling, what was your most recent ADHD?
So most recent ADHD thing for me is I realized and I've known this for like throughout my life, but it was a super simple thing. A couple of friends were like, hey man, we're gonna go watch 2 back-to-back movies. And so me and like one of my best friends who also has ADHD, we were like dreading the idea. They like mentioned 2 movies, and then the first thing that both of us said was like, oh man, that's like 4 hours. I can't sit still that long. It's just not gonna happen. As much as I love Marvel and the Flash, superheroes, we're like thinking like, man, I could maybe do like 90 minutes or like 130. And then we went down a whole big rabbit hole to like, when did movies get so long? Remember when movies were like an hour or like an hour 15? Now it's just like they keep pushing the envelope, and he's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, they're like 2 hours. And then it's like, oh, in a couple more years, man, that could be like 3 hours. It's like, you're gonna have to like watch a half a movie and then take a nap and then come back and then like try to watch the rest of it. It's like, I don't know, I didn't think about that as I got older, but now I'm just like, if once it gets to a certain amount of time with my commitment, whatever it is, I just can't sit. The focus is just gone, and I can't get it back. I have to like do something else.
Question. Okay, so Titanic was a long ass movie, and I know I was too young to like see it in the theater, but we had the cassette tape and it was 2. So there was an intermission. Do you all know if there was an intermission in the theater when that movie came out?
Maybe opening night. Mm.
Morris, you're muted.
I know. I've literally never heard of a movie like in the modern era. Like back in the day, they did intermissions all the time, but in the modern era, I've literally never heard of a conventional film having an intermission. But so, your gripe about overly long movies is actually becoming a much more common refrain. So much so that Pete Davidson had a Saturday Night Live. I think it was just a web extra, but just Google or look up the YouTube short ass movies, and he does this whole song about how he misses short ass movies. He's like, I want to be able to hit this movie and be in bed by like whatever short amount of time. It's hilarious.
Oh.
I think that it will touch you in your soul.
I will definitely check that out. I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I'm glad other people are feeling the pain. I'm just like, man, 2 hours. Oh, that's a long time.
I have a friend in Portland. She has ADHD. She has a daughter. I don't know if her daughter has ADHD, but her daughter's like 6 or 7. And we were talking, I met them in the park and we were talking about movies, and her daughter has not been to the movie theater. And she goes, I can't sit still that long and I talk, so I don't want to go to the movie theater. And I was like, that's some amazing self-awareness for a 6-year-old. That was really cool.
Keeping it real at 6.
Right? That's
pretty cool.
Elijah, what's your most recent ADHD moment?
Oh, I have been trying to think about that because it just happens all the time, and it's just like an everyday thing for me.
Recent's relative. You guys have timeliness. I don't actually care.
Oh, thank God.
This is gonna sound so lame, but it's literally just the first thing that has come to my head. I was sitting in bed and I was like, I need to drink some water. So liquid death, because
I literally just had one of those.
Like I have to. I can't drink the sparkling one, but I drink the flat one. And I'm like, yeah, I want some water. But then, I came into the office to get ready for this, and I sit down and I get back up. I go to the kitchen and I'm like, I'm really thirsty. I want to drink something, completely forgetting that I had the liquid death here. So I grabbed a Red Bull and I'm drinking both of them at the same time because they are both open, and I didn't remember that I grabbed water before I came in.
What is liquid death?
It's literally, it says mountain water, drinking water from the Alps, murder your thirst. And it has, it's like it looks like an energy drink can, like compare it to the Red Bull. It looks like kind of like it could be an energy drink, but it's water.
Okay.
Oh.
And instead of like, yeah.
the story of liquid death is actually incredible. And if you get a chance to listen to an interview with the person that created it, I can't recommend it strongly enough. Agreed. And I will give you a super short version, which is he was in festival culture where drinking energy drinks and alcohol was basically the only thing that was done. And it was unpopular to be walking around, even for the responsible one, with bottles of water. Even people that are on stage, like celebrities on stage who look like they're drinking energy drinks and beers, are often drinking water in cans that has been recanned into those items. And so he's like, if we can make a water that looks like it belongs in festivals, we can break into this realm so it won't look nerdy to have water with you. And then, because they couldn't get into the festivals, they got deals with gas stations near where the festivals were, so that people were buying the water, bringing it in, they got seen, and then and now you can get them anywhere. The story is incredible. He tells it better, but if you can find an article or a video about the creator of Liquid Death, it's insane. love it.
Yeah.
That
And
makes me
social
like it that much more.
It's fully profitable social responsibility.
And like,
That's
I don't
awesome.
know what it is, but there's something about, I don't know, like if it's me because I'm also autistic. So I like have certain things that I can't drink or can't eat because of the taste or the texture.
Yeah.
There is just something about drinking liquid death, like drinking anything from a can that tastes so much better, so much crisper, so much colder than drinking it from a bottle. So I have found that if I need to drink water, like, yeah, I have a water station in my apartment that I'm able to like just fill up water right away and be done with it. But if I'm out and about and I want some water, I will grab liquid death instead of a regular water bottle.
Oh yeah.
So cheers. That's my ADHD moment.
Question for you, Elijah.
Yes.
Quick question. When you drink the Red Bull, how do you feel after you drink it?
I love that question because, okay, so a couple friends of mine were concerned one day because they saw me like drinking Red Bull and then Monster and then Red Bull and then coffee and like just all of the caffeine. And they were like, oh my God, you're going to die. It makes me feel so relaxed that I just like, my regular doctor thinks I have a caffeine addiction because of how much caffeine I drink. When in reality, it's like, it's a stimulant. It helps me focus. So I think of like ADHD medications are stimulants. So is caffeine. So if I like today, for example, forget to take my medicine, I'll drink more caffeine, but I'm more focused.
It always,
Exact
there's
same for
like a, yeah. I get this like, I don't know, especially with coffee because it's warm. I'll get the caffeine and then I can focus for a good 20, 30 minutes. But then it's like after that, immediately want to go to sleep. Right after that, I'm immediately like,
Yeah, I get that. I'm that same way.
I don't have the crash issue, which is very nice. So I do use it for those purposes, but I don't experience that same crash that you're describing.
yeah, I don't know what it
I
is,
guess
especially if
Salem
it's
wanted
coffee.
to say hi.
Especially if it's coffee. Do you have the same problem with energy drinks, Sterling?
A little bit, not as much as coffee. Energy drinks are a little bit better, but it's like I can drink a Monster and like go to sleep. I can like drink one and then it's like it's fine, and then I feel like I can focus a little bit, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep. And then especially if I drink something and then eat, I'm for sure going to sleep. Like nobody's business.
Do you forget to eat?
That I don't have a problem with. So I get like I don't know if this is necessarily ADHD or just like one of my like weird things about me. I just, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I get up without fail, typically without an alarm clock, without fail, with a ton of energy, and I am starving, like absolutely ravenous. Like especially if I didn't eat much in the evening the following day, when I wake up, I am like super hungry, like, and I have to eat. I am like ready to like tear into something.
I always forget to eat, which is why when I'm operating at my best, I will have grazing options around me at any given time. Yesterday, I was getting a lot of work done, and I did not set myself up to eat. And when I went to bed that night, I was laying down to go to sleep, and I was like, I don't feel good. And immediately I realized that the only thing that I had eaten the entire day yesterday was like 5 blueberries.
Oh, wow.
I had gone all of yesterday without eating anything. And so I had to woke up. So I was going to go to sleep, but I was like, I don't feel like it's probably that good to just do nothing. It's probably not the worst thing in the world, but I was like, I'm gonna eat. So got up, ate something real quick, and then went back to bed. Yeah, fully
And
went
so-
the whole day. Not even, it didn't even register. I don't recognize hunger until I'm experiencing a negative physical effect, usually shaking.
Yeah, that's so interesting because like I know a lot of people with ADHD, and even like my best friend, even like my mom in a lot of cases will forget to eat. He'll forget to eat, but it's like I get this like ravenous, almost like consuming hunger. And it's to the point of like if I don't eat and I lay down and like go to sleep, like I have to eat something. Like it'll like wake me up out of bed. I think I would sleep longer a lot of times. In fact, what I'll do is I'll get up super early. When I was working on the cruise ship, I get up super early and go eat breakfast so I can come back and then go to sleep because now I'm satiated. Now I can sleep. Crazy.
How about you, Elijah?
All the time. All the time. I will eat in the morning because I need to take my medicine, and I try not to take my medicine on an empty stomach. So I always have like something quick and easy, usually oatmeal, like this instant oatmeal that I eat in the morning. Eat that, take my medicine, and then throughout the day, I will just be so focused on whatever it is I'm doing. It like could be that I'm on campus, it could be that I'm hanging out with friends, I'm with my mom, whatever. And I'll come home and I'll just be in this like really grumpy, not so great mood. And my fiance will be like, hi, honey, how's your day? All that jazz. And then he'll be like, when was the last time you ate? And I'll stop and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a thing that I need to do because I'm human and I need energy. So yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Sterling, it sounds like you got a good thing in your system to help remind you, whereas a lot of ADHDers struggle.
You mean like a tapeworm?
That is not what I meant at all.
Or like a food demon or something.
I don't know if we should send you to the doctor or the exorcist.
Maybe a little bit of both. I don't
Maybe
know.
a little bit of both. There you go.
I don't know.
Oh, not really related, but sort of related, and I'm going to say it anyways. I watched a TikTok video yesterday of a guy who was telling his story about the first time he learned about women menstruating. He was 8 years old, and his teacher was having really bad cramps, but he didn't know that's what was happening. So he goes to find his mom to come help his teacher, who looks like she's dying. And then all these women come in the room and they're laughing at him. And he's like, I don't understand what is happening. She's got some like demonic leprechaun inside of her.
Poor kid. Oh, that poor kid.
And all of the comments in TikTok are like, I'm going to refer to it as a demonic leprechaun from now on.
I mean, at least the kid was concerned and was like, Mommy, help my teacher.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'm going to dive into a maybe deeper question here. I was having a conversation the other day with a friend who was talking about something she saw. It was like, basically, the idea is it's a detriment to society that we've decided that there is actually a neuronormal. And I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Like,
When you say neuronormal, you mean like NT, like neurotypical, or like?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, I'll dive into this one. So it's interesting because I didn't know what I actually discovered neurodivergence because I learned about neurotypical first. And it's like when I discovered that like being a thing, it's just like the idea of it uh being seen or being we like have this lens that we look through that we like associate normal traits to or normalities to. And I think that's just it's like it's become so ingrained that it's almost like it's a faster way to make like a quick judgment call for people. Like they don't feel comfortable unless just like society as a whole, unless they're able to put you in some kind of box so they can say, okay, if I can put them in this box, then I can label them as not a threat or not something I need to worry about. But it's like, I guess when I heard the term neurodivergent, I watch a lot of sci-fi movies and stuff like that. So when I first heard it, I was like, oh, so I'm like one of the X-Men. I'm like special. So I'm like a gifted like being. Like I'm like everybody else is like, they're like typical. I'm like not typical. I'm like divergent. I'm like the chosen one. But that's just how my ego consumed that idea. And that's just kind of what the world that I created around that whole thing. But it's like when I hear it, I get why people say that and why they associate certain things to it, why they kind of go that direction. But I like to see the fact that neurodivergency is becoming more popular. People are talking about it more. It's becoming like more well accepted. And I've started to associate like being excited when I hear neurodivergent and being kind of like, no offense to people, to neurotypical people, but being more kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Whereas like I hear neurodivergent and I'm like, oh, they're like me.
I like that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. For me, I don't know why, but I don't like calling it neurodivergent because like with sci-fi, like you think divergent, you think different, outcast, like there's literally a whole series called Divergence.
That's actually what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so it's like I call it neurospicy because it's not like it's not typical, it's not divergent, because I feel like when you use those terms, it's like you're one or the other. You're divergent and therefore you have to fit into this box with these characteristics, or you're typical and you have to fit in this box with these characteristics. So I say neurospicy because there's different levels of spiciness and there's different levels of neurodivergent. And it's not a bad thing. Like different people handle different spice levels and you can have a tolerance or you work your way up to those spice levels. But it's also like, I'm not different. I'm not like bad. I'm not like, I'm like, yeah, I am different, but it's because that's literally how my brain is. It's not because something happened in evolution and I got left out or something like that. So I think it's like we're also in a time period where we're starting to understand what it means to be neurodivergent, neurospicy. Because like I remember when I was going to school, when I was in elementary school, I was in the special ed classes because I was slow or I didn't process information as quickly as my peers did. And it made me feel like it made my other classmates look down on me. Whereas now it's like, oh, you're ADHD, like String said, oh, you're like me. We have a connection. Let's talk about like, do you have this too? Do you have that too? And like I was talking to a friend of mine who's also ADHD, but she's not officially diagnosed. And I was telling her about like how the medication has helped me. And I said, dude, the voices stop. Like it's just your own voice up here. You don't have a million different things talking to you at the same time. And she was like, they stop? Like that's a thing that actually happens? It stops? And I'm like, you have no idea. So yeah, I don't know. To say it's bad, like I'm not bad. I'm different. And there's a bunch of people in the world that have different things going on with their brains, and it's not something that we should be ashamed about or say like it's a detriment to society. It's just we're evolving and adjusting and learning more.
What do you think,
Sweet.
Morris? It's got some thoughts. I think it's really interesting because on one hand, I feel like society teaches us to think that everyone thinks like we do, no matter if you have ADHD or don't. So then and this is in general, and then there's surprise of like, oh, why doesn't this person think like me? Or, oh, other people think differently than I do. It's, I don't know. It's really interesting. But Morris, go ahead.
I wasn't raising my hand. I was waving at my neighbor.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I understand how. I was like, yep, I was on mute and I waved at my neighbor who was walking by. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she thought that I waved or that I raised my hand. I didn't, but
That's how I know you're in the South.
I highly value the distinction of neurodivergence. Because the idea of divergence is not intrinsically negative. Science fiction notwithstanding. Humans are social animals. And universally and at smaller levels, there is an evolutionary imperative to be able to understand as much as possible about the people with whom you are surrounded. Neurodivergence doesn't imply a narrow set of ideals. The idea of neurodivergence is becoming the path to understanding a large group of people who were historically written off. And to me, this part, so that part is societal development, evolutionary psychology. And we can circle back to that if you want. Now the me part, these are just my opinions, but I also feel very strongly about them. I think that use of terms like neurospicy sets the cause of social dignity and awareness backwards.
Interesting.
I think that it is, I understand why people within the community flock to it. I don't agree, but I understand. But externally, I think that it does something very similar to, it is not the same, but it is not the same in scope, but I think in scale, but I think it's the same in scope as people who use the term girl to talk about women.
Mm.
You are it is in I think, once again, this part, it is something that I have thought about extensively. I feel very strongly about it, but it is also very much my opinion. It is a way for people external to us to lump us all together again and then dismiss us. Whereas neurodivergent holds within it a clear set of guidelines for moving forward in the conversation. There are recognized aspects of neurodivergence. And then there are areas that are yet being explored. But to me, I think that neurospicy sends us back to the days of the weird kid, which is what it was when I was growing up, just the weird kid.
Oh, this is such a good conversation. I appreciate all of you sharing your thoughts around this. So outside of social media, where have you seen evolution of understanding neurodivergence in your everyday life? And I'll give you an example of kind of what I mean. I went to the dentist last week, and I was very impressed with some of the questions that they asked me on the intake form. One of them being, in what way I prefer information, whether it's auditory or visually. I thought that was really interesting and beneficial, not just for neurodiversity, but people who have like speak English as a second language. There's a lot of reasons for it, but I was just really impressed by that. And there was some emotional intelligent questions on the intake form too, around like, have you had bad experiences with the dentist before? Because they understood that it can be a place where you have high anxiety. And so I was just really appreciative. And then the way that they treated me while I was at the dentist, they were just very patient with some of the issues that I have with being at the dentist. And it was really beautiful to see. I was like, oh, some places in the world are starting to get it. Have you guys experienced anything like that?
I'd say as far as like outside of like social media and things, I have yet to really experience that level of awareness for things like that. Going back to that part where you mentioned how do you like to receive information, I feel like that's something that isn't as in like a societal level, like neurotypical, neurodivergent, neurospicy aside, that's something that's not talked about enough, because like two people can both have ADHD, autism, or any number of like things you can name, but the way they process information also has such a unique effect on that. Like I myself am terrible with auditory information. Like I have a bunch of friends who are like, oh yeah, I just listen to all my books. But for me, I need to be able to like touch it and grab it. That's also why I struggle with like Kindle readers. It's like if I have the physical book, I'll retain more information than if I were to try to force myself to do an audio book. Whereas someone else that's much more of a kinesthetic person might have a higher auditory learning or learning ability, where they can listen to something a couple times and then get it. Where I can hear something 20 times and then I'll still go, huh? And won't pick up on it. But I think places where they are starting to be receptive of that, because it's like that's something that I feel like people just haven't gone deep enough on a societal level and opened up more, because people now are still just, I mean, we're now getting over the like, oh, this person's different than me, or this person's got some neurological differences. And as opposed to, not only is this person different, but they're also different in the way they learn and process information. I think through marketing and social media in general, it kind of forces a lot of people in those industries and jobs to have this this idea where they seemingly they have to categorize people so quickly that they put people in a box and then generalize in order to get whatever their job or their task done, as opposed to there's just so much nuance between person to person that has yet to really be explored and talked about on like a societal level. So I would love to see more places like that, and I would love to go to a dentist like that. I just had to go to a regular dentist, they give me suckers, tell me it's not going to hurt. So that's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't, but I guess also like I've just been so used to masking it that I haven't really noticed if something is neurodivergent friendly or not. I don't know. Like I'll have to pay more attention to my surroundings and see like if I've noticed anything different, because yeah, outside of social media, I haven't really seen anything.
There, my encounters have shifted over time. I think that so there are a small but growing number of employers who are much more cognizant of the world of physical contact, and stimming behaviors are becoming significantly more understood and accepted in the wider, at least in the wider employment world. And then outside of that, there are growing pockets, and these I've been able to be privy to a handful of these conversations that are adopting a sort of red, green, yellow approach to engagement in like social settings. So I'm going to use the example of a networking event because I can't think of what I'm trying to say off the top of my head. Basically, it's like any kind of a fun event, but we'll say networking event for right now. Mm-hmm. When you get a name tag, they either have pre-colored name tags or you will color in your name tag. And so red means I am here to observe this space passively. Don't touch me. I'm doing this on my own. If anybody's going to approach anybody, it'll be me, maybe talking to you, probably not. Don't bother me. Yellow is I am open to the idea of being engaged, and then green is I am okay with the idea of being touched. And so I worked with when I was living in Indiana, I was working with a group of progressive churches in the downtown Lafayette area. And one of the initiatives that we were working on was getting that rolling for all of the churches that were in that little pocket of progressive churches. And then I think this applies, but maybe it doesn't. But I'm fully blanking on this word. It doesn't matter. Cat cafes and things like that are adult-based physical stimuli that can create soothing environment, that have been shown to create soothing environments that are particularly helpful for people that have various types of neurological divergency. I think that they're fun for neurotypicals, but they can be salvation for someone that has significant sensory issues and is required to exist out in the world, and then needs a place to let go of everything that they have masked, just the sensation of a cat touching you or whatever. I don't go to cat cafes, but I have significantly autistic friends who swear by them.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna share something else too, but it went away. So,
Oh,
that's all right. So let's tell us about who you are, where you are, what you're working on. Give us your shameless plug. Tell us about yourself. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
I was gonna say we can do rock, paper, scissors for it.
Oh, I mean, I'll do that too. I'm down for some rock, paper, scissors. All right.
All right, ready?
All right.
Rock,
Yes.
paper, scissors, shoot.
Again.
It's the scissors. All right. All right.
Rock, ready? Rock,
Yeah.
paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh man, you're like reading my mind.
With the lag, what I think y'all need to do is do rock, paper, scissors out of camera. And then you have to bring your exposed choice into frame. Because that way you can avoid the whole lag situation.
All right,
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right. Sterling's going first.
We got a winner.
All right. All right. So my name is Sterling. I also go by Sterls in Sterls World. I am a licensed massage therapist, currently making my way for the very first time to Denmark, Copenhagen at the end of this month to do the World Championship Massage Competition. As crazy as it sounds, thank you, Jess. It's a competition where you go, you compete, thank you, Morris, and you perform massage in front of a live studio audience. And they will record you. There's a timer, you got 65 minutes. You got to really wow the judges. It's going to be quite the event. So I'm hoping to do that and really show off my techniques. You get medals, potentially, and bragging rights and massage clout, which I don't know how good that is, but we'll find out. And yeah, the chance to meet people from all over the world. Apparently now it's gotten bigger, and so I'm hoping that eventually it turns into one of those Netflix competition shows at some point, which I think would be great, as ridiculous as that would be. And now they're starting to do it on a state level. So each of the states, they're having competitions, and there's also an American competition. So I don't know, I'm going to try to compete, travel a little bit, and have a good time.
When did you say it was?
So it'll be the 1st and the 2nd of July.
Oh, like coming right up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'll be going to Denmark the 28th. And I'll land there on the 29th. And then from the 29th to the 30th, 31st, 1st and 2nd. Yeah, I'll be making it happen. And I'll be recording, taking photos as much as I can. And then they do some classes there where they kind of teach you some techniques and styles, but everybody turned in their bio, and there's like people from all over the globe. There's like one guy from Memphis who's like, yeah, I came here to win this thing and ride off into the sunset. So everybody's like very different. There's another person from Sweden who's like, I've been practicing massage since I was 5 years old, and I hope to come to this event and meet many amazing people. So everybody has a very different, like, what they expect in their perspective. And I just think it's really cool.
Yeah. How does one prepare? Do you like an artist who sings will maybe not speak for like 2 days? Are you like resting your hands right now?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. I haven't done a massage in like 2-3 weeks. It's been great. I like feel charged up with energy. So I'm resting my hands, not doing anything crazy. Absolutely no thumb wars, no crazy arcade video game marathons. Yeah, keeping it. No, probably no arm wrestling. You know, I don't want to damage the my arms or get flung off a table, and now I can't compete. And yeah, I'll be doing that. I got to bring my own sheets. And then I kind of got like a protocol that I want to do. I talked to somebody in Oregon actually who was a judge on one of the panels, and she participated actually. But she was telling me if you can do the splits and a handstand and something else really cool to get the judge's attention, you'll probably do well. But if you're coming in there expecting to just do boring, regular massage and make people feel good, it's not as sensational. There's got to be fireworks and explosions like a Michael Bay movie, but with massage and half naked people. So I'm gonna do my best to bring service to that, and whatever else I can do there. I'm really excited.
That's awesome. Well, if you guys want to follow Sterling's journey through his competition, I will make sure his Instagram link is below.
I'm surprised you're even willing to take a risk doing rock, paper, scissors. You never know, man. You never know. That is now that so now that you're describing it all and talking about the competition and mentioned like the Netflix show, I'm like, if you've ever seen the movie Shooter, there's this scene where Mark Wahlberg is training that dude how to shoot, and he's like, all right, you got to shoot that thing, and he's shoot that thing, ready? And then he like sets off a bomb like a few feet away from them, and the guy freaks out. He's like, I told you to shoot that thing. And so like the Netflix show can have like you massaging and then like bombs are going off and it's like, can you stay focused? Can you stay in that zone?
I hope
it would be massage warfare as opposed to modern warfare.
Yeah.
Guns and stuff. You have to run into the battlefield and explode and set up your table and then rescue the person getting the massage. Yeah.
All right,
gotta be careful of that hot oil.
Got a bunch of neurodivergent people who could put this together.
We're ready.
I'm down. I'm so down. Sign me up.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Elijah.
Hello. Yeah. So, I'm Elijah. I am currently a student at Colorado State University, and I'm studying psychology. I think I have to think about this for a minute, but I think after this next year, so winter of 24, I think I'll be graduated. I think. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. And I am from Denver, Colorado, but because I go to school in Fort Collins, I live in Loveland. I live with my wonderful fiance. We've been together for 8 years, and we got engaged on April 1st of this year. And it was funny because thank you. When I put it on social media, I was getting so many messages of like, is this a joke? Are you actually engaged, or is it an April Fool's Day prank? And I'm like, no, we're actually engaged. Our anniversary is April 1st, I promise.
Joke's on them.
Right? I'm like, yeah, it's a joke. Just wait until I send out the wedding invitations and then tell me it's a joke and big elaborate prank.
That's the punch. That's the punchline. That'll be the punchline.
I also you've kind of been seeing him floating around, but my little void, I call him a void. He's my little black cat named Salem. He's currently hiding under my desk right now. And yeah, I love working in the world of psychology and the world of ADHD, especially ADHD and disorders in higher education and how it all translates with each other. Sorry, words. And yeah, I'm also trying to get my business off the ground, which is the Mind and Soul Connection. And it's mainly for ADHD, but also just kind of bridging the gap between your mind and your soul and becoming one whole person and working together with everything. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I do a little bit of everything.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I'll also put Elijah's Instagram handle down below.
I mean, doing a little bit of everything almost feels like, it's not quite par for the course because there's so much, distinction between us. But it is a fairly common thread among a vast majority of our community.
Yeah.
So I am Morris Duvos. Most of my handles are at Mo the Third. And that is actually where a decent amount of my attention is right now. I have a TikTok page that I dedicate a good amount of attention to. I was running regularly scheduled themed lives on topics ranging from the idea of an evolving God to the idea to the impact of empathy on society. I am trying to return to that space. I had taken some time fully away from most of social media because I was not in a great place. I am making my triumphant return. Thank you. I have a Redbubble store, and I'm also getting back into the world of writing. And so those are the areas that I am sort of pushing out into the universe. But like I said, find me the easiest way to find out what I am doing and what other things you should follow me on is through TikTok. I have an Instagram technically, but I don't use it the way that it should be used. I'm bad at it. I'm not bad at it. I just don't care enough. I really like TikTok. It was built for me.
There it is.
Yeah.
Morris, for people who don't know what it is, what is a Redbubble store?
I design things and I throw them on hats and t-shirts, stickers and buttons. And so you can follow my various, mostly my areas tend to be humor and photography. So there's like a lot of nature photography, and then there's also just a lot of really funny stuff. Like I don't know if you're familiar with the story of the killer whales that keep destroying boats in the Strait of Gibraltar. Yeah, there's a group of killer whales that keep disabling ships that try to sort of come into their area along the Strait of Gibraltar. And so there is a fairly expansive group of people on the internet who are firmly team orca and just like screw those yachts. And so like I have buttons that relate to that. I'll usually try to find something that is in the zeitgeist and just like sort of floating around the news or the common consciousness, and then I'll throw up some humorous designs relating to that.
Excellent.
So
Nice.
those are the main things that I have going for me right now. In my day-to-day life, I'm normally a background actor for TV and movies down here in Atlanta. But with the strikes that are going on, there is very little that is shooting right now. And so jobs are hard to come by. So now I'm refocusing my attention on these other areas. I had to take a lot of stuff off the back burner in the past month or so.
Real quick, Morris, if you're ever in and around Arizona, there is a lot of work there right now. I know the head of the Arizona Theater Company. She's always looking for people of color to do acting roles. It's actually how I got in my first play in Arizona. It was the piano lesson. And that was really
crazy.
Awesome.
I just shot 3 days. I just shot 3 or 4 days on the movie adaptation that's being produced by the Washington family of that play.
Cool.
Yeah, the Washington family is producing it. I forget if Denzel Washington's son is directing and starring in it, but I know that he is heavily involved. I did not get to see him, but I was sharing air with Samuel L. Jackson, and that was crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Love that play. A lot of lines, man. A lot of lines. Holy cow.
I believe it. it was a lot. It was a lot for a film, and the films never include the same amount of dialogue that the plays do. So I can't imagine. I'm familiar with the story of the play. I'm not familiar with the text of the play. So, but I cannot imagine, just based on how dialogue heavy the scenes we shot were.
Oh, so much. I played the comic relief guy, so I didn't have nearly as much, but I was like the support of the main character. I played Lyman Jackson, so not as serious as some of the other characters, but it was a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, but a very fun character. He was in at 2 of the days that I was shooting.
Yeah, fun character for sure.
That's cool.
I feel like y'all are like up here and I'm still down here trying to work my way up.
Girl, raise your hand up.
That is
You're
very
right up there with
inaccurate.
us. You're right here with us.
Oh, I was. See, I like his version's better than my version. But yes, no, all of us are just muddling through. Everyone in this world are just muddling through. So I wouldn't lean too heavy on yourself.
I said I was working my way up.
You're already there, girl.
You're talking to
I just get bored.
You want to reframe that, Elijah?
I'm just gonna come down here.
Who was basically offered a job recently out of nowhere?
I haven't heard anything back about that. So I've just been like, I'm in school.
Right. But wait, are you a sophomore or junior?
I don't know.
Whatever. What sophomore in college is offered a full-time job?
Ooh, not me.
My fiance.
I sure wasn't.
Alex. He got offered a full-time job after he finished community college, and he's paying for all of this.
That's beautiful. And it is unusual, and of course both of you are in that space.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you're amazing and you get to own it.
That's right.
Okay, I'm Jess Bose, and I'm an ADHD coach, and I love talking to ADHDers. And the thing I want to promote today is I have a membership called Fucking Little Tasks. And Morris leads one of the calls, and I lead one of the calls during the week, but there are 2 different calls. It is centered around body doubling. If you're not familiar with body doubling is a way to help you get shit done. If you've ever like been on the phone while you were cleaning, or if there was a person around and you got more shit done because they were just in the room with you, it's not necessarily that they have to do it for you. It's just having another person to keep you accountable and remind you what you're doing. So that is what we do on a call twice a week. And we're also building it up so that there will be a community aspect of it as well. And right now with the promo code, it's only $40 a month, which $10 a week to help you get shit done is a steal. So if that's something that you are interested in, please message me, find me on my platforms, which is at Coaching with Jess or jessdebose.com, or just message me and I'll tell you more about it. And you get the first week for free. So all kinds of cool things.
And I will say it's like literally that's how I met you. I don't know how it happened, but you and I started talking and I joined that group, and it's literally like one of the best things I've ever done for myself, because there were days where I would get on and it would just be me and Jess, and I'd be like, okay, I need to vent. I need you to tell me what I should do. And she's like, okay, let me hear it. And I tell her, and she's like, okay, do you want Coach Jess or friend Jess? And I'm like, okay, let's do Coach Jess first. Let's see what Coach Jess has to say. Okay, well, and she would like go on about like, this is what Coach Jess would say. And then friend Jess would be like, you need to fucking slow down, child. You're doing too much.
So I've heard that before.
Literally like one of the best things ever. I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a fun time. Okay. last question for y'all, unless you want to keep going, but what is one of the ADHD hacks or things that you have learned or discovered for yourself that has like saved your life, or something that you would want to share with another ADHDer because you're like, oh my gosh, this is the thing. If any of you have followed me, one of the things that I share often with ADHDers is the hack about the refrigerator. Instead of putting the fruits and vegetables in the drawer, you put them in the door, and then put the condiments in the drawers, because you will see the fruits and vegetables in the door and remember that they are there, and they will go bad less frequently, and you will know that you have ketchup somewhere and go search for it when you need it. So that's a hack for your kitchen life.
That's a good one.
I have one. I have the perfect one. I'm so excited about this one. So one of the things that I have found that I'm really struggling with is the fact that I am doing classes during the summer. And during the summer semester isn't like fall and spring, because I'm not going to campus every single day like I would be in fall and spring. I'm not sitting in person in classes, doing the body doubling, like physically being on campus. Therefore, my brain is on campus and my brain is like focused on schoolwork. In fact, I haven't been to campus since last month. Yeah, about May-ish, because I have no reason to go. So doing classes in the summer has been really tough, just because like I haven't had that structure, but also because I'm here at home. And when I'm at home, I'm like, okay, home brain. I need to clean, I need to cook, I need to do this, that, whatever. And I'm not focused on my classes. Well, I have this, like, I'll show you a blank page. I don't know if you can see that because of the sun, but it's like, has Monday through Sunday in the little boxes, and then a list right here on the side. And I have turned it into I call it my quest log. So I'm a gamer. I love video games. Me and my fiance play video games all the time. That's one of how we connected. So every day I will write down my assignments, the stuff that I like need to get done no matter what, as my main quest. And then on the side, I will write down the side quests. So it's like, it could be like taking the dishes out of the dishwasher, refilling the dishwasher, laundry, like things that need to get done throughout the week, but aren't urgent, that need to get done that day. And I will do the main quest first. And sometimes I'll have like so much energy that I go ahead to the next day's main quest, and then I have a day off, as I call it. Well, I've also was like, okay, I need to figure out how to reward myself, because in video games, when you complete a quest, you get a reward. Have not found that yet. So if you have any ideas, let me know, because I'm still struggling with that. But each week is a different level. So this week, because it's week 25, it's the 25th week of the year, it's level 25. And every Sunday or every Monday, I fill out the new level, fill out the new quest log, and that's how I do it. So then I'll tell my fiance, I'm like, I finished today's main quest and I'm so excited. And he's like, yeah, that's great. What's your reward for today? And I'll be like, I sat and played video games because I didn't have anything else to do and I don't feel guilty about it. And that I shared it on my Instagram and with a group of people and on my Facebook. And it has been such a hit with my community that I'm like, I need to share this with more people, because it's not only fun, but it's like, it's functional, because I know I need to get the main quest done before I do the side quests, before I do anything else. And I have to get it done before 11:59 that night. Otherwise I lose or fail that quest.
Nice.
So yeah.
You could always get yourself a jar and like fill it with beads or marbles or something as part of the rewards. And then once the jar is filled, you can go like buy a new video game, or
Ooh, that's a good
you have
idea.
smaller rewards to a bigger reward.
I like that. That's a good. I'm gonna write that down right now because that's a good idea.
Are there any cutscenes for any of your quests?
Sometimes. So like we always have those days where it's like we don't have that lot of energy and we need to take it slow. So I'll always take I'll do one level of the quest and then I'll take like a 30-minute break and I'll do the side quests, or I'll watch a 30-minute show or something, and that's the cutscene. That's like the break time, and then I go back to the main quest.
I used to joke when I was a lot younger that my whole life is a giant side.
Excellent.
I will answer the question, but have you all seen Free Guy?
Love it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's Free Guy?
There's a Ryan Reynolds movie that came out about a year and a half ago called Free Guy. And in this movie, an NPC gains sentience and then essentially unlocks the inner humanity of all of the non-player characters in the video game that he and his friends have been trapped in. It is incredible. It is possibly in my top 20 favorite movies.
Yeah.
It's
you need
that
to go
good.
to Disney Plus and watch it right now. Like right after this. You know what? I will put on like a watch, whatever they're called, like a group watch thing, and we will watch it. You need to see it. It is amazing.
Yeah. Free Guy, a non-player character becomes sentient. It is heartfelt. It is hilarious. It gives homage to the video games of old. It is.
And it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And a Marvel character may or may not make an appearance. That's all I'm saying.
No way.
I'm not saying anything else.
Cannot believe this is a real thing, and I've not seen it.
Yeah, I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. I think it came out about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
It's excellent. I think that you'll thoroughly enjoy it, just based on the little conversation that we've had.
Thanks for the recommendation, guys.
Absolutely. I wanted to make sure. I was like, in this group, I feel like I need to ask that question before we go too far, because y'all were getting super jacked about the video gaming your lives, and I was like, oh, if they haven't seen this movie, it would be a travesty. So anyway, enjoy it in good health, my friend. But now to respond to the actual question, my hack. This is sort of 2 in 1. But it comes from, and I'm just going to recommend this if you are active on Twitter, there is a Twitter user, and right now their visible name is called Barren Field of Sunflower Seeds, which is very funny and very awkward. And they're actually at MYKOLA. That's their actual at name. MYKOLA. My koala.
Okay.
Or actually, it's my cola with a K. Just kidding. It's not koala. That's not how you spell koala. Shut up. It would be my cola with a K just smashed together. Anyway, that is not important. What is that they had this beautiful and heartbreaking thread that has sort of run through ADHD Twitter. And they talk about the limits of natural motivation, because for many people in the ADHD community, whereas in a neurotypical mind, the end goal, like success, is the end goal, not success, completion. Excuse me, completion is where they get their dopamine hit. They'll get their dopamine hit then. And sure, while we chemically by and large, we have significant chemical deficiencies when it comes to dopamine, but the dopamine hits we do get don't come from completing the thing. They come from satiating the curiosity. And so when you are presented with an interesting problem, you don't stop when you finish it. You stop when you understand it completely. And so my twofold hack is, one, find a way to trade problems. So when you get to the point where you lack motivation, so the umbrella is offload as much as you can. When you're when your motivation fails and you have hit that dopamine hit of understanding, offload as much as you can. Whether that means you hire someone to do it for you, you find someone that is more interested in it, you create a partnership. So if it's like this great idea of this business that you want to do, or this script that you started writing, if you write it until you understand it and then you can't write it anymore, find a writing partner who you can hand it off to. Because then because even if they have ADHD, then it's new to them. So they have to solve the puzzle of completing it. But in an ideal situation, you can hand off your lack of motivation for things that aren't like intrinsically valuable. So like not everything's going to be a script that they would be excited to put their hands on. It might just be something that you're working on that has no real benefits to anyone except you. But if you can trade that enthusiasm with someone else, you will return to that state of a lack of understanding. I was having this conversation with another ADHD person, and over the course of our conversation, we were talking, and I had this realization. I was like, the single sentence, the single sort of paragraph that will motivate me more than anything in this world and get all of my mental energy pointed in the right direction is this. When someone says to me, Morris, hey, can you take a look at this thing? I've been working on it for a while and now I'm stuck, or like I can't figure it out. And I'm just like, oh my God, yes, give me that thing. And I will I will tear through like vast bodies of research to solve this thing, because it is a unique problem that another person that I have at least a modicum of respect for tried to tackle and for whatever reason was unable to. You get literally the best of my mental power. All it takes is that fucking sentence.
I have been on the receiving side of that very often, and I so appreciate Morris for helping me solve problems all the time.
That's awesome.
And they're like, sometimes they're big problems and sometimes they're really, really tiny ones. Like the other day I called him for a very ridiculous one. And it was that I was watching this TV show about a guy in prison and they have a burner phone, but they never show the fucking charger. And I was like, how is this going to work if you don't charge the damn phone? And then he like sat through and gave me some logical responses and then might actually do an experiment.
But the fact that it was something that I had literally, until that moment, never thought about, but because it was framed in that way, I've been thinking about this and I'm stuck. She didn't use those words, but that was the base messaging is I've been thinking about this and I'm stuck. I processed a ton of variables and was able to sort of push this through to a series of logical possible conclusions. That included everything from sporadic usage to bribing guards to things like that. And so,
wow, it's interesting.
They're magic words. It's dumb, but also if you can channel it, it's incredible.
It's incredible.
I'll have to remember that next time.
That is definitely one I want to keep in mind. That is cool.
But seriously, for creative stuff, find some like I have half stories and half scripts all over every hard drive I've ever owned. And as another example, so my housemate is in the performance arts. She has been for years, and she has this friend who wrote this incredible play, incredible apparently. And she is like, look, I have some people. I think that we should do like a digital staged reading of it and just kind of try to get this thing off the ground. And she's like, no, not even a digital staged reading. She had like a connection to somebody else, and she was like, if we let them do this thing, he might be able to actually like get it not screened, but you know what I mean, staged. And this guy who she also so my roommate and I both have ADHD, and this guy that she's talking to has ADHD. Whether he's dealing with it, whether he knows that or he's dealing with it like an adult is an entirely different question, which I don't know. I don't know this guy. But instantly, like she was just like, let me do this, because he has hit that point where he's like, no, it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it is the ADHD equivalent of tomorrow. And as we all know, tomorrow.
That's so real. That's so real.
And so she's just like, okay, fine. And like, there's a good chance that unless he comes to his senses in the very near future, like, because he wants to hold this project to himself, like he wants sole credit for its creation and production. And it's like, ADHD people don't have that luxury. I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, but man, if you are being willing to share credit on your creative endeavors, can mean that you can do, actually do your creative endeavors and probably do a bunch more. Because if you just write them to a certain point and hand them off, you can do like 20, and you can leave all that other stuff to whoever your partner is. You got to find that part. Anyway, that's it.
It's like thriving in your zone of genius. Don't do the things that are out. If you can help it, don't do things that are outside of your zone of genius. Period.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way.
Yes. I don't have ADHD, and I've also learned that the hard way. Sterling, do you have a hack to share with us?
I do. So one hack that I will say, so a little bit back on to what Morris was saying. So couple things. For one thing, it is absolutely more than okay to hire some help for things that you do not doing. I have spent so much time growing up as an adolescent, as a kid, smashing my head in the wall, thinking that I have to force interest in topics I'm not interested in. And if I'm not interested in it, it's just not gonna get done. I'm just not gonna, I'm gonna try and try and try and try. And it's like the stuff that I find interest in. It's funny because I oftentimes will say, oh, I'm not a detail-oriented person. But once the interest is present, I can see every detail in whatever it is that I'm working on. Like I can go to the deepest detail. I can get into the flow state and like forget about time and like get really absorbed in it. But if I'm not interested in it, it's like pulling teeth. And it's like the interest has to be there. Like the average person without ADHD has the ability to do like super mundane tasks and continuously do those mundane tasks. But like with ADHD, you only have so much curiosity. You'll get this curiosity, and then you kind of have to give yourself permission to just go with it. And then the stuff that is mundane, that for a fact is mundane and you're not that interested in, hire somebody else to do it. Pay somebody else to do it, do some type of trade, let someone else do it. That has just like changed my life to start thinking that way. Like, oh, I don't have to do this. Someone else is really good at this and they would love to do this. And I can request their services. I can give them work and we both can be happy. It's like absolutely mind blowing for me once I came to that realization. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do everything on my own. I gotta write the book. I gotta edit. I gotta be a video editor. I gotta post this at that time. Absolutely not. You don't have to do any of that. I can do the thing that I enjoy doing, and then other people can. I can have other people help. I think the other thing for me is, it's realizing how effective it is when my mind is in disarray to just write, just like word vomit on a piece of paper. It has been super helpful for me to just get stuff, because sometimes I'll be curious or thinking about things and I don't know why. So I feel like I have to address those things during the day, and then my day just gets shorter and shorter. I'm all over the place. I'm disorganized. Whereas if I write it down, some of those things that I thought I was super curious about, maybe I just wanted to think about them for a half a second and now they're gone. And then I can just narrow down on focusing on a couple things each day instead of feeling like I need to do 200 things or I need to accomplish this gigantic Christmas list size of activities. Don't need to do that. You can do a couple things and do them really well. A couple things that you're really interested in. Categorize your interests in like really high interest, kind of high interest, not that interested, probably not going to get done. That's okay.
Yep.
So, Sterling, I have a question for you, and it's open to everyone, but it's just something you said kind of piqued my interest when you said, like, I definitely agree about you can hire someone who's good at something that you're not, but what if someone wants to hire you, like the flip side, like you are really good at something and someone wants to hire you, or you're really good at something and you want to get your name out there so people can hire you to do said thing. Does that make sense? Like, how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, are you saying, so how would you go about getting someone to, like, if someone else was like, dang, I'm really stuck at this, I hate public speaking, I want to hire Sterling to public speak because he's good at it. How would you get other people?
Yeah, or like what Morris said is, like, if someone comes to him and says, I'm stuck at this, can you help me? And he's like, yes, let me help you. So like someone says, hey, Elijah, you're really good at organizing. I want to learn how to organize my day. Can you help me? How would you like get your name out there? Kind of thing, I guess.
Oh, so this is like one of my favorite things. And I was bad at this growing up, but I've gotten a lot better at it. Absolutely show your work, and whatever that means for you, always be showing your work. And especially if it's something you're excited about, bring it up in conversation. Let people see the excitement. Show your work, make YouTube videos, do TikToks, tell people about it, follow pages about it on Instagram. In conversations, bring it up. Like, I get really excited about, so at my most recent job working on a cruise ship, I was really excited because they were doing a raffle, and my boss was like, I hate doing this raffle. It's boring. I don't like doing it. Not that many people show up. And I was like, a raffle? So can I like do voices and stuff and like be in front of people? And you don't like doing that? And she's like, no, I hate it. And I'm like, okay. I don't want a pay raise. I don't want extra time. I don't need extra lunch, free time, anything like that. I will do your job for you absolutely free if you just trust that I can do a good job. So she's like, all right, I'll let you do it. I don't want to do it. I'll let you do the whole thing. I was like, just trust that I can do a good job. Tell me what it is you want me to do or don't want me to do. Let me do it. And then all I did each week is when we had the raffle, I always volunteered and said, hey, let me do that. And then I started doing it. And it got to the point of where people were so excited for me to do the raffle, they only wanted me to do the raffle. All my coworkers wanted me to do the raffle because they were like, oh man, it's Saturday again. Sterling's gonna do the raffle, and he does voice and he engages with the audience and he tells jokes and like all this other exciting stuff. It was to the point of where my manager was like, gosh, I don't know if I want you to leave and go back home. I want you to stay here and keep doing the raffle because I hate doing it so much. So another way you can do that is find the things of your friends around you. Find things that they hate or don't like that you love and talk about it. That's one way to like really get it out there, because people love to have someone else do things that they don't like doing. If you love doing dishes and somebody's like, I gotta go home and do these dishes, and you're like, oh man, that's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I can't wait to like bust some suds. That's like something I get down doing that. That is one thing. It's like usually stuff like that. Everybody has something that's like a pain point that they're just like, I don't want to do it. Oh, it hurts. And then somebody has that like point of joy where they're like, oh man, that's what you don't want to do? I freaking love doing that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah, are you open to me doing a little coaching moment with you?
I am.
This requires you to stop hiding. There it is.
You know me so well. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. And I see this in a lot of, for those of you who are watching, I see this in a lot of women with ADHD in particular, because as women in society, we're taught to be small and not to take up space and not to be seen and not to be heard. And that's a very huge generalization, but there are little nuances that we hear and see that every day. And so for a person who has a beautiful, amazing, big personality, such as an ADHDer, who has lots of energy and is really passionate about things, it is really hard for women with ADHD to exude that, because they are taught to condense it into this little box, and it can't go outside of this box because otherwise you're going to be shamed, or you're too loud, or you're bitchy, or you're bossy, or blah, 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 blah. Fuck all of that. Get out of the fucking box and let yourself be seen. Yeah.
I think I need a
I will-
sticker that says that. Morris, will you draw me a sticker that says get out of the box and be seen?
You're gonna write it down so you don't forget.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This has been a magical roundtable. I'm just so excited about all the people who are going to watch this episode, because there's lots of amazing nuggets in here about how to see ADHD in a way that is beautiful and amazing, but also hacks that are supportive. And we had some wonderful conversation. So any of you who are watching, if you want to connect with Sterling or Elijah or Morris, I'm going to make sure that the links to get to them are below so that you can find them. And if you are struggling with your ADHD and need some support, please reach out. I have lots of different programs at different price points that could be supportive in your journey. And if I'm not the right person, I know lots of other ADHD coaches and would be happy to connect you with other people to get you to the right resource and person. So thank you for joining us on this beautiful Juneteenth day, and we will see you next time.
Yay.